back into hour 2.5, I'd say, of TableStory Ascendance.
There's some crackle in the mic. There's some crackle in the mic there, Bob.
Hey,
I was going to do this during the break.
The
but I didn't
dragon's
have
back.
enough time.
You can
The
hear
dragon's
crackling.
back.
All right.
I'm done. I'm done. I'll never do it again.
Ever.
I mean, no, go ahead. Go ahead and do it if you need to be. You need to do it. Don't. Oh, okay.
Cute, Dick.
Girl Scout cookies?
Mm-mm.
Did you hear they're selling Girl Scout cookie cereal now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Girl Scout cookie cereal.
Oh, Chips Ahoy. Oh, okay.
Man Scout cookies.
Oh, those are so good.
Oh, with
Oh, the
Reese.
Reese. Okay.
Fuck.
Mm-hmm.
See, I would eat those, but I'm already fucking fat, so I would just become a fat. I'd be like double fat if I ate those.
Oh, fat.
I'd just be a
I would be a fat. I'd be a blob.
You wouldn't be a
You
fat person. You'd just be a fat.
I would be a fat.
Sound like my cat.
Because it's still. Can you still call it a cat once it reaches a certain?
Yeah. I mean, Bosco's a bear, so
Yeah. There you go.
pretty much a bear.
Oh,
Okay.
he's just a dick.
Bringing it into the second hour and a half, I'd say. As you go though on your insight check, you kind of get a feeling like he's not entirely telling the truth, but he's somewhat being truthful that he wasn't hunting the dragon, because you remember from your previous encounter, they had clearly said, no, we're not going to go fucking kill a dragon. It's a fucking dragon, mate. So, what do you guys want to do? He's just kind of sitting there.
What was our comment directly before that? You asked him.
Were you hunting the dragon? And he said no. He kind of shook his head. And it's like you look
Okay,
at Rog
so-
as like, or Reeve as,
So when he says no, and Gotha kind of gets the sense that they're messing with him, he says, "Then what were you doing?"
he just kind of looks at Reeve, and Reeve just, and Rog, right,
You risk your life to kill a dragon.
well, right,
But
you
you
were
won't-
fucking fighting it. He was practically dead. Listen.
At that moment, can there be you guys see from the corner of the eye out of the conversation a flash of holy light as I cast the last of my lay on hands on
Okay.
myself,
Heal yourself up.
and I climbed to my feet right after he says he was nearly dead,
Yeah.
and I say, he still had some fight left in him.
Yeah, right. This... Every dragon's got its hoard, right? The cave! We've watched it for weeks, there's gold! And,
Oh, is that what you wanted?
well... You know,
Of
he just kind of,
course.
he like, shrugs at you and just... Right! And turns out and starts to go into the cave entrance that you guys had seen previously.
The humans say, everyone has to make a living.
As you say that, Reeve, like as he's turning, kinda,
As they're walking off, I don't address them, but no, continue.
Like as they move towards the cave, Gotha just says, "Good hunting," and then he turns back to Fora and says, "We should leave."
We should leave. We have to find a safe place so that we can at least rest for a little bit. Because I'm not sure we are at our peak here to fight another dragon if one happens to come along. So, what do you suggest, Gotho? I mean, we are out here on your venture, so...
Climbing back up the mountain will take too long.
Mm-hmm.
We must find a place near here. Jay, is the Zalem?
Zalam.
Zalem, yeah. Gotho's passed by that area before. Can you tell me what I would remember? Like how far it would be from here?
You actually wouldn't know that Zalam is there. You've passed by. What you can like recollect from that area is I'd say a small basin, like where there would be like a small dried up shallow lake, and what looked to you just like a building on the top of the sand, with a dark, like wide, massive opening leading downwards. I would assume you didn't go in there, you didn't investigate much, just kind of passed by. So you just remember that there was a small part in the desert where there was these massive pillars with a massive opening and steps leading into it, but not too much other than that.
This basin that we're currently at, compared to like local landmarks like Port of Pariah and Anthervert, where are we exactly in relation to them? I'm trying to think if there's any place closer than climbing back up the mountain.
You'd be like southwest of the Port of Zundabilg Highlands on the map.
Southwest.
You guys would know this as well. So let me.
So we're like just north of Lanthervert.
Yeah, you guys passed by Lanthervert as you were on your way.
Okay. Now, and I remember you told us this last time, but was Lanthervert was a ghost town, basically, right?
Yeah, you remember it as a ghost town. Yeah, and Fora, you can remember that there seemed to be
something that hit it like an
explosion from inwards that went outwards, and as you were passing by, there were ruins and other things that were kind of embedded into the mountainside of Grey Peak.
Did I get anything else from that?
No,
Or
it
was
was
that
kind of
just
like
it?
there was like a dune that was covering the bottom of the city, like you couldn't see past it, but you could see ruins and other buildings that were kind of carved out in a circular nature
Okay.
on each side of the city, so as if something had emanated from inside of it outwards.
Are Rog and Reeve, I know they're walking away. Have they exited earshot yet?
Yeah, I'd say they're past like the boulder that you guys are near, and they're kind of, you can see them, they're kind of passing under the archway now, kind of happily skipping into the cavern.
Real quick, Jay, just to
I mean, if I yell, would they hear me?
Yeah, you would, yeah.
Yeah, so Gotho turns and he tries attention before they walk too far away.
Yeah.
Hey, just see if I can get one of them to turn around.
Yeah?
There was only one, right?
Yeah, just one, mate.
You are sure?
Yeah.
They were too cowardly to fight the dragon alone.
Right, we heard
Go
that.
into its lair if they thought that there was another. They said they've been here for weeks. They trust their lives. I think we should do the same.
If there is only one, we could use Dragon's Cave for rest.
A good idea.
Mm. But we don't know.
Randall is barely on his feet. He is very much in favor of that idea.
That might be the best place to go, considering I really don't know where else we could hide around here. Everything's out in the sun.
There was Empty City, south. We could go there, but
It's empty for a reason, isn't it?
Gotho has a bad feeling about going to empty cities.
And it didn't look like it was in the best of shape. Really, even a space to hide. Let's go inside the dragon's cave. Maybe we can figure something out in there if we don't want to rest. And
Okay.
Maybe get a couple of gold pieces. I don't know. Maybe something's in there. We can.
Maybe halflings share part of money.
Considering you did most of the work, I think you should get at least big jewel for yourself, Gotho.
Gotho does not need jewels.
But it will look nice on you, like a necklace or something.
I'm just visualizing like a giant jewel just hanging on his neck. This massive gemstone. Let's go to cave.
Okay.
So we're
Jay-
following the two of them to the cave.
Okay.
Pretty much. Jay, real quick, before Randall leaves the dragon, either with this intelligence check that I already did, in my knowledge of dragons, or I can do a different check, is there a part of the dragon that, don't get any ideas, is there a part of the dragon that is extremely rare, like the eyes of the dragon, anything like that? Component that would be worth a lot to the right.
Most things from a dragon in general are like incredibly rare.
Okay.
Because dragons themselves are so rare, especially in this world. Like you guys have never come across anything made of any kind of dragon materials, whether it be bones, claws, hide. So the hide, the teeth, the claws, you'd immediately recognize as valuable. Maybe the gallbladder for like alchemical purposes.
Yeah.
Perhaps
Alchemy,
the heart.
all that stuff. So as Fora and Gotho begin to follow the other two in, Randall, having a little bit of vigor, but you see a little bit of color back in his cheeks, and some of the splits and crackles and the burns across his face, and around where you can see his skin. They've sort of dissipated a little bit at this point. He says, "You two go on ahead. I'll catch up." And he drops his shield into the sand and pulls out a large hunting knife and his battle axe. He kind of hefts it.
Okay.
And he begins to skin the dragon.
Okay.
And gut the dragon at the same time.
What are you using again?
My hunting knife.
Okay.
And my battle axe if I need to break any joints or anything like that.
Okay. Sorry.
When he starts that process, Gotho tells him Gotho was already going to do that. You should rest.
Well, if we leave it out here, who knows what'll carry it off by the time we're done resting. Let's get the job done now.
Carry off a dragon.
They could come and take bits of it. That's what I'm going to do. Boom.
Maybe, those two, and she mentions, she motions to the cave. They might do something with it.
Exactly. And he kind of points at Fora with the knife, saying, like, exactly. It's my life. At this point, Randall is like not himself. That the good lightning strikes he took have definitely dumbed him down a bit to where he is not as boisterous.
Let's head towards the cave so we can, get some rest. And maybe, Gotho, if you're not feeling up to it, then if you'd rather skin in, give you something to do.
Feeling up to it.
You don't sleep, do you, Gotho?
Randall asks. He just gets very pointed question.
You don't sleep much. You don't sleep much, do you?
I think he just stands there with his eyes closed sometimes.
Fun fact: monks get everything back on a short rest and never need long rests. So no, not really. Gotho says Gotho sleeps, just not as much as men.
I'm still not sure if I believe you on that, Gotho.
Hypothetically, if we were to go rest, you could stay here and finish this laborious task.
And he kind of motions towards the whole body of the dragon with the implements he is about to use.
Gotho was going to take claws, teeth, and meat. What are you taking?
The hide and possibly the heart. Definitely the heart.
Okay. Gotho can do. You two. Go inside. Sleep.
Randall sheathes, without even really thinking about it, he sheathes his knife again and picks up his shield and just pats Gotho on the, probably like the mid-thigh, somewhere in there. Like a pat.
Yeah.
Thank you, my friend.
And just starts kind of dragging his battle axe almost behind him through the sand towards this dragon's lair.
Yeah, you guys quickly catch up with Rog and Reeve, and as you guys are about, I'd say like 20 to 30 feet away, you can hear them like slowly arguing with each other as like Rog is kind of like yelling under his breath and like a stage whisper kind of deal to Reeve, and Reeve is just and as you guys like come up, Rog tries. Oh, hey, right. You look right fucked up. Stay here. I'm gonna go in. No tricksies. Reeve's gonna stay with you, right, Reeve? And Reeve kind of thumbs up. Right, gonna go make sure no more blue fuckers are inside, right?
Insight check.
Yeah, sure. Insight check. Totally telling the truth. It's not trying to deceive you. You get the sense he wouldn't leave Reeve behind if he was truly trying to deceive you.
Absolutely.
So he says, right, stay here.
Randall
be right back.
Randall kind of nods and pops the cork on a water flask he has.
Yeah, you
and
guys
just sits down and finds a shady bit.
Yeah,
under
you guys take
one of the
solace
rocks.
in the shade of the archway above the cavern there, and
Be careful, little man.
right. I will. And he disappears into the cavern. You see him for a short while, has a small torch out, kind of sparks it as he gets in, and disappears around a bend. Gotho, are you actively right now trying to remove any pieces and bits?
Yeah, Gotho's skinning it first. He's collecting like the scales and hide.
Yeah.
And he's also started a campfire at this point. I don't know if I need to roll for that.
It's going to take about 6 hours to skin the dragon. Roll me a survival check to see what you take. Are you just actively going for the hide right now?
He was going to take claws, teeth, and then he was originally just going to take the meat and cook it so they had something for dinner.
Okay.
But since
you'd got it first. You got it.
Since Randall specified that the hide and the heart were important, he's also taking those.
Okay. Yeah. So give me a survival check. Okay. You start using the warhammer to kind of like.
No. He's using the curved assassin dagger that we took off of the
But
the arcane tricksters back in like.
You'd have to use the warhammer to kind of crack open parts of the scale because it's rough and not leathery, but still seeming almost as if it's made of like gems and jewels. So you take a quick swing, crack open a portion of the scales, and then dig in the knife underneath, and you just start
like get to the soft like underbelly almost. Got you.
So you can dig the knife in underneath, and you just start like furiously cutting. Like I said, it'll take you about 6 hours, depending on everything that you want to get.
Gotho's realizing like 10 minutes into it how long this is going to take, and now he's like
yeah, like you in about 10 minutes 15 minutes you've really only gotten a few like portions where you're cutting and you feel like it give way and it lifts up a little bit more. It'll take a while. So about 10 to 15 minutes pass. You guys are taking solace again under the shade, and Reeve starts to get a very worried look on his face as Rog hasn't come out of the cave yet.
Do we notice this, Fora and Randall?
Yeah, you guys do.
Do you think he should have been back by now?
I'm looking Rog straight in the eyes.
This is Reeve.
Oh, this is Reeve.
Rog's
Sorry,
the one that talks. Reeve's the one
Rog
that
and
doesn't.
Reeve, the gnome halflings.
Reeve just kind of
The odd couple.
Do you want to go in after him?
Kind of a half smile.
Just hefts his short sword and shield again. Kind of shrugs his shoulders so the battle axe jostles around.
Well, if you do, give my regards to your friend.
He kind of like notions his head for you guys to come in. You see like a worried look kind of fleeting across his face.
Oh, we're not going anywhere. We are resting, my friend. You can have all the treasure you want. We have no interest in it. We just wanted to kill the dragon.
At that, Randall raises a hand as if to cut off Fora when he said, you can have all the treasure you want.
How come you're worried? You said that there was nothing in there. Or at least your friend did.
You see him start like in front of you as if it's been this many minutes.
He'll be fine. No other dragons, remember?
Kind of grumbles and just walks inside.
He's walking inside?
Yeah.
Never mind.
You wouldn't be able to hear this from this far.
I was going to say from as far away as I am.
Other little man.
As he just kind of walks in, you see him, no torch, just turns around the bend.
Okay, Randall. Listen. I'm going to try and sleep in here. If they come back, I don't trust them. I don't trust those two as far as I can throw them. And I'm not even sure I can throw them. So I have myself a nap. I think you should probably do the same. But I'm not sure how long we should rest. I think Gotho will look after us, but...
At this point, have we seen Gotho's fire been made? Gotho made a fire first thing before he started this, right?
Yeah, I'd say there's a small plume of smoke coming from
you can smell dragon meat too. Like,
all right.
As he's been gutting it, like one of the first things he did was like take a good chunk.
It's still only been like 20 minutes, so you'd still have to cut. You'd be cutting through the hide still just to get to the meat.
But you said the very first thing you did was build a fire, right?
Yeah, I heard that. So yeah, you can see a small plume of smoke from behind the boulder.
Randall kind of nods that way.
Well, if we're not going in with them and we're going to rest, I say we rest by the fire.
And he kind of pulls himself back up and starts shambling back away from the entrance, back towards the dragon carcass and Gotho, and himself down next to the fire.
Okay. You come see Gotho hacking through the hide. He's made a little bit of progress, but it's kind of scary how much he hasn't made.
How's it going? And Randall says with a knowing smile, as though he expected that this was going to be a chore, and the fact that Gotho offered to do it was...
Yeah, as he sees Randall back, Gotho, he doesn't look visibly annoyed, but he should. And Randall, it's like he's not letting on that he's kind of annoyed, but Randall can still, like, he's insightful enough to know that Gotho's probably not happy at how long this task takes. And so as Gotho sees him approaching, he just says, harder to skin than wolves.
Harder to kill than wolves as well. That is, if you actually hit them.
Where did little two men go?
Well, they went one at a time. Fools. Into the dragon's lair. If we don't see them come out, then I should think we should back off a bit.
Where's Four at this point?
You did not.
She's still at the entrance of the cave, kind of just laying, or not laying. She's standing against the entrance of the cave, just kind of like a lookout for any other dragons and the halflings.
Oh, okay.
Or the gnomes, half gnomes.
You did not get the money you wanted?
No. They wouldn't allow us to go in. They said there was no danger. But they're not back yet. You know, money can save lives just as much as killing a dragon can, my friend. Many people starve because they don't have enough money.
You said little men went in one at a time?
Fools.
Does Flora hear anything out of the cave?
Roll me a perception check.
Oh my god, there's blood everywhere. No.
Nothing. I mean, it's not for lack of trying, but it's almost eerie as to the fact that there's nothing coming out of there. You don't hear roars, indicating maybe there's no other dragon. You don't hear them yelling back and forth.
The cackling of laughter as two gnomes scoop up a bunch of gold.
When you said, last thing you said was fools.
Yeah.
And then Gotho says, how long ago?
He starts counting up on his phone.
I don't know. Since we walked over there,
He kind of looks up at the sun, trying to gauge it. I don't know, Jay, how long at this point has it been? Maybe 20 minutes since they
I'd
walked
say
in?
it's still been about 20
25 minutes, something like that.
Gotho just stands up without saying anything, and he takes the assassin dagger, and he kind of pushes it into Randall's chest. Like, hold this.
Oh, Jesus.
No, not the blade, but like,
yeah.
He puts it flat against him, like just pushes the handle into him, like this is yours, and just starts walking towards the cave.
Randall just kind of nods and moves over right and basically continues right off where Gotho left off, skinning this thing.
Roll me a perception check.
Randall, or
yeah, as you start cutting, roll me a perception check. Okay.
I get to re-roll that.
You do.
It's a D20 roll, and I'm a halfling, right?
Yeah. Go ahead. You also have
I don't get to
disadvantage.
I don't get to re-roll that.
You also have disadvantage as well. So
you're absolutely right. So I don't get to re-roll the second.
That's fucking epic.
Yeah.
3 nat 1 perceptions. Yeah, you just start.
We ain't found shit.
Sawing into it.
Shit.
You can see now the blood is just kind of spilling out.
Fuck you, Jesse.
I just wanted to see if I would get a nat 1. I had to roll.
I was expecting a nat 20 from you, honestly.
There's been a little bit of progress made, but there's still, you can kind of put your hand under the hide now, but you then have to scrape off the meat and kind of cut the ties of nerves and sinew from the hide. You're just going for hide right now. That's it.
Yeah. Well, actually, I'm gonna go. Initially, I want to go and try to get all the bowels and all the intestines out before the meat spoils.
Yeah. Okay. Roll me a survival check.
7.
Okay. All right. Gotho, what are you doing?
Gotho, he's just walking. He was walking into the cave, but now he sees Fora kind of leaning up against the outside of the cave, and says, 2 little men inside the cave.
Mm-hmm.
one at a time?
Mm-hmm.
How long?
It's probably a good 10, 15 minutes apart. And one went in, didn't come back out. The other one, he must be a mute or something. He doesn't speak. But he went in after him, and I haven't heard a thing.
Gotha just like pulls the hammer off his back and walks into the cave.
You cocky son of a bitch.
Sec here. Kind of pass through the cool air of the shadows, and you head into the cave.
Of wonders.
Of wonders. Flora needs to sleep. She's like about to pass out.
Okay.
Like take a real ass rest, or she's just gonna walk over to the fire, and just slowly lay down.
Okay. I didn't get a chance to dynamically light this, so.
Oh man, no dynamic lighting.
I know. I'm sorry. No dynamic lighting.
Campaign's
What kind of a
the
fake
worst.
campaign?
You gotta get on. You gotta bring your level up, dude. You gotta level up your D&D.
Dude, I made this at 4 a.m. the other night. Fuck you.
It looks beautiful, Jay. It looks
right.
it looks like you made it at 5 a.m. Hell, 5:30.
Okay, so as you pass through, you kind of walk down the tunnel, take a quick left, and you can roll me a survival check really quick. Okay. They're kind of hard to see. Do you have dark vision?
Yes.
Okay, I can't remember. They're kind of hard to see regardless of the dark vision. As they're slightly faint, but you can see like tracks of where the dragon's wing has scraped across the wall and sometimes the ground, and you can kind of get a good idea. I mean, it's just the hallway in front of you. You can also see in front of you just one set of footprints walking through this cavern. What are you gonna do? You gonna go in ahead?
Yeah, he's just gonna follow the tracks. But is there like how far ahead of me in a straight line can I see? And is there anything odd about the cave walls, or like any obvious, potential pitfall or anything I should be looking for, or is it just a path?
Roll me an investigation check really quick.
Yeah, he's just checking to see.
Yep. Yeah, after like briefly taking a look, you can see the footsteps went through unheeded. There doesn't look like there's any like spike traps on the wall. As you kind of step forward and you're tapping, there doesn't seem to be any ground giving way. You can see the footsteps of one of them have been just continuous throughout, so kind of gauge that there are no traps that were triggered.
Gotho wants to scan around and see if he can find a second set of footsteps.
Okay. Yeah. With your survival check there, you can't find the second set.
Okay. Well, he's just going to follow the one set that he can see then.
Yeah. Explore at your own peril or will. Do you have control over that character? You should, right?
Oh, just move the token.
Just move your token. This is how it would be if you had dynamic lighting, but I'm a terrible GM, so.
What's this item on the ground here that I'm standing on?
That is a pillar.
Okay, gotcha.
As you kind of come into the cave and you step through, you can't quite see anything out of the ordinary. There's not too much happening. You can see the pool of water in the back, small stalactites dripping into it, stalagmites all around you, a massive and bright like pool of gold hanging almost over the water at the edge, but no sign of the gnome halfling brothers.
Okay, so from here, from where I can, like, you're saying I can plainly see like a giant pile of gold?
Yeah.
Okay. So Gotho, he sees the gold and then he just looks down at the footprints and looks to see if they walk right up to the gold.
Okay. Give me another survival check. Okay. So I'm trying to fucking deal with roll 20 here. There we go. With that, you can see the footsteps that you were following. Now, kind of off to your left, there's a smaller set of footprints kind of within the dragon's own footprints that you can now clearly see out in the open here. The one that you're following, they go towards the gold, and you can even see like a few coins misplaced. But off to your right, I'd say right about here, you can see another set of footprints coming towards that doesn't belong to the pair that you're following.
So I'm seeing 2 sets of footprints approaching the gold from my left, and then a third set approaching from the right.
Yeah.
Okay. From looking at this diagram of the cave with room to explore, I don't really see anything else over there on the right, or like places to explore. Can I see the whole room?
Yeah, you can pretty much see the whole room now. The gold is like illuminating enough that it's okay. It's just normally like, or rather, not normally. Back where you would first come in, the sunlight outside was casting a little bit of light in, but your eyes had to adjust, and this corridor was dark. Out here, it kind of opens up, a little more natural light bouncing around.
Okay, that third set of footprints that I can see, does it intersect with the other footprints at some point?
Yeah. Like as you get closer, walking towards the pile of gold, kind of looking at the set of footprints, they seem to come from off in the northern part of the cave. Following that over, they seem to just kind of from the wall. You can see just a pair of footprints start at the wall, and following them back to the pool of water, 2 pillars erected from it, seeming to come out from the water from a deeper point. In the middle, you can see it gets very deep, and off to your right of the gold pile, you can very plainly now see multiple sets. There we go. That's the word of wet footprints going behind a stalagmite and out to the gold pile. Roll me another perception check really quick. Okay. It looks like most of the gold here on the far side from where you're looking, here, has, right there. Looks like a lot of it has been kind of just like thrown into the water by what seems to be a scuffle. And let me move this over here for immersion's sake. And in the middle of the water is the bow that you recognize Rog using.
Gotha looks at the pile of gems, and he's looking for what is not necessarily the most valuable, but what looks like the bulkiest piece of treasure here. Whether it's a chalice or a large gemstone or anything like that. Is there anything physically large?
Yeah, you can see amidst all of the gold and copper and silver, there are a couple of like iron and copper ingots. Just kind of laying. There is a long, kind of crackling javelin in the far side of the pile. Right below you, there's a small map, and you see a couple green glints of gems from the pile. And there's a small, like, sack just kind of almost hanging into the water.
Okay. Well, first of all, the map. Gotha just picks that up and puts it in his pocket without really stopping to read it. And then, is this pile big enough that, or like, can I reach across it? Or is it large enough that I'd have to walk around it?
You'd have to, like, either walk around it or walk across it.
Okay, well, Gotha wants to grab the javelin you were talking about.
Yeah, you pick it up. As you pick it up, the tip of it kind of like with golden electricity just kind of shoots out for a moment, arcs away from one of the pieces of gold and silver around it. And as you like kind of pull it to your side, it arcs off of another coin off the pile, and just a regular javelin that you're holding.
You say golden lightning?
Regular javelin.
It looks like a regular javelin, rather, aside from the lightning arcing from the
golden lightning.
Gotha just kind of taps the spear point to see if it zaps his finger a little bit.
No, as you do, like as you bring your finger closer, there's like a small goes to your finger and then dances back.
Gotho turns it around so he's got the handle of it, and he uses the handle to like hook that bag that was on the water to like pick that up towards himself as well.
Yeah, and quickly pick it up, pulling it towards yourself. It looks like a regular sack. There's a small like arcane sigil on it. It's about like the size of, I'd say, a coin purse that you'd have seen Fora or Randall carrying.
Gotcha. He's gonna open it and see if it. Well, actually, I don't know. Gotho's like kind of superstitious with wizard look and stuff. So when he sees the arcane symbol, he's just like, I'll let one of the others look at that instead, and puts that in his bag as well. At this point, he's gonna take one of those iron or copper ingot things in the stack and just toss it into the water. But as he does that, he's also like standing a good 15 feet.
Yeah. So you stand back and you take the ingot and line up a shot, throw it, and as it like. You watch it just huge splash and then nothing. You can see the ripples now. The bow is just kind of floating along closer to the shoreline, but doesn't seem to have. Can't really hear anything of it hitting like shallow ground. And it just disappears under the surface.
Gotho takes one more look at the pile of treasure to see if there's any other items that appear to be more than just gold coins and whatnot. If there's anything else, bags or items or anything that looks useful.
Yeah, you find. How thorough of a search are you doing?
At this point, he's like stopping and spreading through it.
Okay, yeah. So in it, you find just a massive hoard of what seems like gold and silver and copper. And as you like push past, find a bottle of wine. Pushing past more ingots, and the green gems just seem to glint at you, almost as if like the gold light is kind of bouncing off of them, and they shine and sparkle as you push them past. It's really all there is just a massive pile of gold. There's a small like kind of battered looking mace on the other side of the pile. The handle's kind of rotted and decrepit, and almost seems like there's splinters out of it, chunks out of the metal, but just really the bottle of wine, javelin you're holding, a couple green gems.
Gotho uses the handle of the javelin to like poke it into the water and lift the bow and arrow up out of the water as well.
Okay, yeah.
And he's
Grab it by the string.
Gonna take. It was Rog's bow or Reeves' bow?
That was Rog's bow.
Yeah. So he takes Rog's bow and then he turns the spear around and he puts the electric end in the water.
Okay. As you do, you can like putting it kind of close to one of the coins. You can see as it touches it, zzz, zzz, and then like the arc kind of goes across over to the coin, connects with it. You can see the water bubble like a small amount. Doesn't seem to do anything crazy, other than a couple of sparks dancing across the water.
Gotho's gonna start. He's gonna exit. He's gonna exit the cave. Like he wants to go after them. He's not stupid enough to go alone into water and fight something underwater.
Okay.
So he starts making his way back towards the entrance of the cave.
Okay. Yeah, you coming out of the cave, walking towards. Doesn't seem to be any traps once again. You come out to Randall and Fora. Just hanging out around
How
the
long has
fire.
he been gone at this point?
He's been gone, I'd say, like a solid about a half hour.
Sifting through the gold and all that type of stuff.
About a half hour.
How much progress has Randall made on this the skinning of the dragon here? Have I actually gotten the chest into like the chest cavity, like underneath the sternum?
Fuck, I'm trying to find my fucking music. Roll 20 is so. You've kind of gotten a part of the hide cut away, and you can see like some of the guts now spilling out. You've managed to like unhook one of the claws just in like a random moment of like, oh hey, dig underneath the nail.
It was already loose from the battle.
Out. Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of like lopping the head. Just hey, if the claw if that was that easy, let me try the. You kind of dig in under a gum and you pull out like a decently large incisor. For you, it's a large incisor.
What I'm really going for is the heart, like
Yeah.
more than anything else. I'm really focused.
it'd take a little bit more to get in there, but you can see. Like,
Okay,
a
but
couple of
I'm making a little bit of
intestines.
progress at this point.
It's like your hands have gone numb, like as you're digging in, you're just getting these small shocks, especially as you hit the stomach. This kind of like weird brackish liquid kind of pours out from it. See arcs of electricity jumping across, and they kind of jump through the veins and the muscles of it. You see them tighten around your hand almost for a moment as they relax and pull your hand out. Your fingers are completely numb from all of the electric shocks that you've taken, but it doesn't seem to be anything. There's the fucking song. There we go. Sorry. Doesn't seem to be. You're not getting hurt from it. Just a very intense numbness now. So you've got yourself a dragon claw. It's still only been like a small bit. Taking apart a dragon takes a while. Fora, what are you doing through all this?
She was sleeping. She was taking a rest.
So you're taking a short rest or a long rest?
A long rest.
Okay, so you're out. You
Yeah,
walk
she's-
past.
She's out cold.
Yeah, you walk past
Kind of
Fora.
snoring a little bit.
She's
Maybe growling.
Music to my ears.
She's far away, bro. You can't even hear her fucking growling.
I thought she went over to the campfire.
Did you go over to the campfire? Or
Yeah,
you gotta
she's sleeping
move
by the
your
campfire.
tokens, girl.
Move your token, dude.
Bruh.
Fuck! I thought
Gosh, Al.
did
There.
it not? Did
There.
it?
You just don't want to be near Randy Randall?
No. I think mine's fucking up or something because I moved it. I remember moving it.
Uh-huh, sure.
Mm-hmm.
Randy's feelings are hurt.
So
I can
as
actually, yeah, you
Gotho comes walking back over to the campfire then, and Forrest passed out. So he sees Randall and just says, Randall,
Randall looks up.
Yes?
men who live underwater. Are there such a thing?
Intelligence? Can I roll on that, or would that be history?
that'd be intelligence.
Intelligence? Where's my intelligence? There it is.
Yeah, you'd for sure know there are like various sects of.
Would I be able to name them or anything like that? Or would it
Yeah,
just
like
be
a mermaid. There are, if I'm not mistaken, they're
Like-
called mer kings or some shit. if you really want
merfolk,
to-
etc., etc.
Merfolk. Thank you.
There are several races of humanoids that live underwater. Why do you ask?
His eyes narrow very suspiciously. At this point, he's completely left off. He's
Yeah.
buried the dagger in the sand next to the dragon and kind of like turned from his sitting position
Yeah.
to look up at Gotho.
When he says, why do you ask? Gotho just kind of tilts his head towards the cave.
Mm-hmm.
Inside cave. I think they took the two little men.
Anything else to do? What's in there? What did you find?
Lots of gold.
Yeah, well, that's a given. Any bodies? Any bones? Any tracks?
There was lots of gold. There was water. Halfling feet go to water. Other feet come out of water. Maybe took them. And this, and he pulls out Rock's bow, was in the water.
And this, it takes Randall a half a second to put it together because he was, if you remember, being attacked by a dragon at point blank range when the one dude had the bow. So it takes him a half second to put together whose bow it is.
As soon as Gotho sees like the second of uncertainty where Randall's putting two and two together, he says, little man's bow.
Oh, shit. Kind of, Randall looks down at the task in front of him, basically, that's ahead, knowing that, there's possibly a task inside the cave.
Gotho also pulls out the little sack with the arcane sigil on it and the folded up map that he picked up.
Yeah.
And he kind of just like holds them both out to Randall, like, you'll know what to do with these better than me, kind of thing, and says, also these.
Randall just kind of still in thought, kind of pats the sand, like in between the two of them at this point, and motions for Randall for Gotho to sit down, basically.
Sit down for a moment, friend. Take a rest.
And he's kind of examining the arcane. I want to focus on what is this item, Jay, with the arcane symbol on it?
Roll me an Arcana check.
No. I mean, like, what is it
It's a
again? Is it a bag? It's a bag. Okay.
To you, it's like a coin purse or like a small sack to you. Four, you just recognize it as like a as its size. It's a coin
Four
purse.
is asleep.
Oh, 4 is not asleep or not seeing anything. Never mind. My bad. I meant to say not seeing anything, but I said not asleep. Fuck you, 4. You don't get a long rest.
I still have Randall still has 2 divine sense left. I'm going to go ahead and cast Divine Sense now. As Gotho sits down, he casts Divine Sense to see if any of the items that have been taken out of the cave have any type of inherently good or evil or divine or celestial.
Quickly focusing again. Nothing at
Okay.
all.
So after that, just that takes however long, a minute,
A couple moments.
tops, I believe.
You quickly,
and,
everything is, you are.
it's
you are
all
down.
it's all right there, and I'm focused on it. I then after I do that, I without saying anything really to go, though, I turn my attention to the bag itself with the arcane symbol on it.
Yeah.
And I inspect the arcane symbol without actually touching the bag yet.
Okay.
Arcana.
Yeah, Arcana check.
12.
You would recognize it as a sigil for weight, and you can even see now, like as you're focusing, it doesn't just look like a mess of runes. It kind of looks like a scale, and like one of them is entirely down to the right. With a 13, yeah, you'd be able to tell it's a bag of holding.
I can tell it's a bag of holding.
Yeah.
While he's distinguishing what the heck the bag is,
I just as I do that, once I find that out, I just kind of slowly reach out and just take the bag and pull it towards myself, very much focused on that. And Gotho.
Gotho's unfolding the map to see if he can piece together what it is while Randall investigates the bag.
Okay. As you unfold it, like it's slightly wet. Some of the ink, which you can guess it's ink, is kind of smudged off. You can see like half of the what you would remember as the dragon's lair right there is kind of smudged off. The top right kind of still there, but there are multiple rooms on the map, and it seems to be like dotted lines going through the rooms. One is marked like 1, 2, and then 3. And on the third one, you can see like a large open space, no corridors or anything, and a small like crown in the at the top of that room.
You said Mer Kings.
Well, I'm not sure if there's exactly a hierarchy, but I know that there are folk that live underwater.
Gotho holds up the map, and he has his index finger pinched right where the crown is and says, "Kings wear these."
I can't fault you there, my friend. Looks like a king to me.
At this point, Gotho probably notices that while the map is a very interesting thing that's been brought out, his complete attention, Randall's complete attention is really on this bag and how it's something about this bag.
Okay.
And it's like, cool, you have a map. I'm still focused here. You know what I mean? But he's not saying a whole lot about it.
Pretty quickly perceiving that Randall doesn't care about the map, Gotho puts it back down and says, "What is in the wizard bag?"
Could be many things, my friend. You know what a bag of holding is?
Gotho's reaching he has no idea what a bag of holding is, but Gotho is now reaching towards the bag to open it.
Randall immediately snatches the bag up, like away, obviously, like away from Gotho.
Okay. Gotho doesn't try to catch it. He just says, "What is in the bag?"
I don't know. But we want to be very, very careful. Just in case. I wouldn't open it under my present condition.
And he just kind of sets it down on the side next to him.
Okay.
I believe Fora might actually know more than either of us.
And he kind of looks over at Fora.
She's having a good dream.
So
You chase those puppies, Fora. Get those puppies.
So this map we were looking at, I'm able to see a room that is clearly reminiscent of the treasure room that I was just standing in.
Yeah, with half of it like smudged, but you can still piece it together.
And then after that, it looks like lines drawn to other rooms.
Yeah, like as if they are connected, and then in those rooms themselves, drawn through corridors, almost as if like, take this path.
Gotho think cave is bigger than it first appears.
Most are, I believe.
At this point, Randall pulls the dagger back up out of the sand.
I think we should find that out later. But before I sleep, I must have its heart.
And he goes back to his task of retrieving the heart from the dragon.
Okay.
Yondala will be most pleased. She protected me this day, my friend.
He looks at Gotho and pauses for a second, as if to tell him. He's telling him this. He's not saying I believe this, but he's saying it as though it's fact. Like why I'm still alive is because of Yondala.
You know who else protected you this day? 2 little men. Gotho will go after them.
Not alone, you won't.
Sinks the blade back into the sand. He gets up and walks over to Fora and gently leans down and like just kind of taps her on the shoulder a little bit.
Fora. Fora. Fora!
Guys, what?
Hello, my sweet.
Hello.
I believe we've run into a bit of a predicament.
Oh no, what? What is it?
Gotho?
Did someone steal the dragon's heart or something?
2
I'm
little
still
men.
working on it.
The 2 little men went inside.
Did they not come out? Have they still not come out?
There's water in the cave.
Show her the map.
He just holds the map up. Deep water. Other rooms.
Oh, this. Oh no, you don't want to go after them, do you?
Yes, he does.
Go through with a heart of gold. Well, all right. I suppose if we are going to go do this, let's do it as quickly as possible. We don't know where they are.
Roll me.
You didn't happen to see any healing potions in that treasure room, did you, Gotho?
Gotho holds out the wine skin or the wine bottle, whatever it was, and says, Gotho found this.
Thinking more of alcohol at this point than healing potions, Randall just like plucks it from his grasp and uncorks it and gives it a quick little, just to see if he can identify what it is.
That's wine. It's good.
It's straight up
vintage, too.
wine. All
Yeah.
right, he just takes a long pull from this wine and then smooths the back of it and hands it over to Fora. Well, it's not. Are there any immediate?
You're fine.
Okay,
I mean,
it's not like poison or anything.
no,
Okay,
it's
okay.
not- you're not dead. No, don't worry.
Okay, you're dead. Ha
Got another one.
Got another one, James.
How long did Flora get to rest?
At least
I'd say you
30
got about
minutes.
an hour and a half, so about a short rest.
Okay.
This is all transpired within like the last hour and a half, right? It's not.
Yeah.
It's not.
Oh,
if
yeah.
You guys were like, "Hey, I want to, sit down and actively do that," then we could skip that. All of you guys, roll me perception checks really quick. As far as taking a swig of the.
3.
I get to re-roll that.
Oh, there's no a 6. Excuse me.
I have an 8. I have an 8.
While you're drinking for, you're just kind of still groggy. Don't necessarily pick up on it. You, Randall, and you, Gotho, you pick up from the mountain in front of you, from what feels like behind it, you hear this like high-pitched roar, almost like a screeching of agony and despair. And as you two look up, you see a massive figure, almost akin to the size of the mountain itself, the peak of the mountain, 2 bright blue wings just flapping. You can now, as it comes close, you can hear.
Gotho doesn't wait. He's like grabbing the other 2
Okay.
and sprinting. He's like he's grabbing Fora by like the back of her. Is she still? Are you still laying down or did you sit up?
No, she's set up.
Okay. He was like grabbing her and Randall and like moving towards the cave immediatally.
Okay.
Whoa! What the? What?
Move!
You can hear it now for the
Yeah.
roaring. Just
I mean, this is all sand around us,
it's
right?
all,
I
it's
mean,
all
this is-
sand. Yeah.
So this is probably sand is all through the. It's like a maelstrom of just wind and.
It's not direct. You can hear it. Like that's how big and large the wings are. You can see it.
We can't feel the air
Can't
yet.
feel
though.
the
Okay.
air. No, it's a little bit away, but it's coming. You can hear the
Oh,
roars
it's
now.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, okay, let's.
Gotho doesn't drag them all the way to the cave. He takes like a good 4 or 5 steps and he kind of pushes them that way, but then he turns around and he takes his 2 big hands and he scoops a ton of sand onto the campfire.
Okay.
And puts it out,
Okay.
and then runs in there with them.
Randall, as soon as he's let go from being pulled along, basically stops in his tracks, turns around and bolts back after Gotho, and grabs up the bag of holding and his knife and his shield, all the things that he basically left right there next to the dragon's carcass, and just grabs all of it and just turns around and just move into the cave.
Why are we going towards the cave? Isn't this where the dragon lives?
Gotho like grabs her face and just kind of looks at her and says, "Where else do we hide?" And then pushes her into the cave.
Do you guys like stop at the entrance, turn around at all, or did you just run straight in and straight through?
Gotho's just moving like deeper into the cave. He's not even waiting near the entrance.
Randall is right on Gotho, just knowing that Gotho can see in the dark, that he just trusts Gotho.
No choice at this point. She's just bolting after them.
Yeah. As you guys like get into the cave, as you go further in, you guys are now like the kind of almost blinded for a little bit because it's like suddenly dark and then suddenly or suddenly bright and then suddenly dark. Even with dark vision, it takes you a moment to blink it out, but you can feel an impact as the entire ground. You can see pieces of rock falling, hearing it behind you, as if something massive, like city-sized, to your belief, just crashed into the ground. You hear roaring and thrashing, and then
Gotho said we should leave before the mother comes back.
How big is the tunnel that we're? I mean, how big is this cave entrance? Is this something that is the size of a city could get into, or
it's a fair size? I mean, like it's
a good guess, basically.
It'd be like five Gothos across.
So possibly not big enough for this thing to get in.
You'd have to turn around and see to detect if it's.
What about a quick glance over the shoulder while I'm sprinting?
A quick glance. Okay.
How will that do?
Give me a sec here.
I'm already rolling at disadvantage, just so you know.
Disadvantage. Apparently. Okay. All right. Roll 20. It won't let me fully do it. As you take a quick turn, glancing behind you as you're running, and just kind of like you finally get into the cave and you peek out behind you. You just see this massive, mature-looking drake compared to the small kin that you had just removed. This is not a cooler token. Roll 20 won't let me use the premium assets. Fuck you, roll 20. Is it like you see it just breathing lightning breath behind the rock, which you can kind of like quickly ascertain that's where the kin was, kind of going over, and then immediately looking towards the cave as it just starts like running towards the cave.
Gotho is like already before the like as we're getting back in there towards where the pile of gold is. Gotho's pulled out that map again.
Yeah.
And like he's looking at the path to whatever would be the first room, and mentally he's going left, right, like the directions he needs to take.
Studying where he has to go.
Yeah.
As we're rounding the corner, Randall yells to Gotho, "You said there was water. Where's the water?"
Follow. Or he holds up his hand and says follow, but then like they can hear him out loud going, is there like branching paths, or like how complicated is this map?
It's pretty fucking complicated. Yeah, it'd take like a moment or two to sit down and fully grasp it.
But you could he could study the first like 2 or 3 turns, right, to get us.
Yeah, you could get the gist of it. Here, okay, go straight. Okay, here, go left. What's that small indication? Okay.
Not memorizing the whole map, just the directions to the first room, like the first chamber shown on the map.
Yeah. Yeah.
How many turns would he have to remember?
You could remember a fair few. I'll give you like you can pretty much get the first room locked down.
Okay. So like I don't know how many directions. I'm just like, is this something where he's going to have to go? Okay, I need to go 30 feet, then take a left, and then take another right, and then swim up 30 feet. You wouldn't be able
to ascertain that from the map. It's not, it's not to scale. Even Gotha would see it's this small. And
it's more like when the tunnel splits, you go right.
Yeah, exactly.
You go left. Okay.
So he's memorizing then the first 2 or 3 like forks in the road to get to this first chamber.
Yeah.
and then like he opens up his bag and pulls out that coil of rope.
Okay.
And leaves it trailing behind them, or he leaves it trailing behind him for a second and just dives into the water.
Okay. You guys dive in immediately. Do you guys dive in as well?
I don't. Randall may or may not have been able to see it clearly. Although you said the gold had some light reflecting off it a little bit.
Yeah, there's a little bit of natural light in the cavern.
He sees Gotho like through rope behind it, and the rope is now feeding down into the water.
And I had seen the map enough to know that we have to go underwater to get to the rest of the complex.
There was no indication on the map that you had to go.
There was no indication.
Half of it was kind of smudged out.
Half of it was.
You guys just see Gotho just immediately start unfurling it as he's running through the cave, and you guys can go. You hear crackles as like behind you, Fora. Lightning just kind of splays out from the corridor you guys just came from. And you guys watch Gotho just dive underwater.
Randall with his shield on his back and his axe. He has his axe out in both hands, but then as he sees Gotho dive in, he shoves his axe into his belt and grabs Fora's like her belt with one hand, and then just grabs the rope as it's like whipping by.
Okay. It's not really like whipping or anything. It's hanging.
Oh, it's not whipping. He just
it's not whipping. It's
the rope.
slowly.
Too many voices at once.
Gotcha. You're fine. Go, Jess.
The rope is reeling into the water as fast as Gotho can swim because he's swimming and it's being pulled behind him.
So he grabs Fora and he grabs the rope and then begins running towards the thing to dive in as well. But he has one hand on Fora, one hand on the rope.
Okay, you guys.
Fora slowly understands what's going on, and she just like just holds her breath.
Yeah.
Just prepares.
As you dive into the water, Randall, cool water splashing you can see the rope kind of like it's shallow water, but there seems to be a pit in the middle. Gotho, you've already gone through it. You're swimming through these crystal-filled caverns, kind of reflecting off and guiding you through these kind of almost murky waters because of all the sand and dirt around it. You jumping and then splashing just before you hit the water for you just hear another roar, another splay of lightning through the corridor, and you killed my babies! And that's where we're gonna end the session.